Welcome to another episode of the Battered MLS Fans Podcast. I am your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me is a blank screen that you see there. But shortly, we're going to have a guest on to talk a little bit about the new signing or potential or official as official can get signing for Thomas Mullër going over to Vancouver. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll bring in our guests now. We were able to get in touch with Joshua Ray. He's a writer for Area 51 Sports Network, and he also is part of Post of Terminal City FC podcast. Joshua, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for coming on. I mean, this is big news. It's big news all over the MLS with a couple other players, right? And now we're going northwest, and we're talking a little bit about Vancouver and their acquisition of Thomas Mullër. I mean, I've seen that he's planning on signing for a 2-year agreement. It's not official written yet, but we're pretty close to it. No.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. An official announcement is, from what I've heard, from what other people heard, this week. Could be tomorrow, could be the day after. Who knows? The Whitecaps' social media accounts haven't posted anything cryptic yet, so
Yeah.
hopefully soon. But once Fabrizio Romano gave the "here we go," it officially became unofficially official.
Yeah, nice. And that's I guess what everybody's waiting for. Soccer Daddy FC, who also watches Vancouver, says Mullër to Rain City. So that's gonna be big stuff there. Now, I'm a big fan of FIFA cards, right? And so Mullër has a gold rare card. So that's as far as I know, as far as like knowledge is concerned. I know that he's a huge player for Germany. Is there a huge population of German fans or a huge population of German people in Vancouver where maybe this might draw some of those fans into the stadium?
I don't have the exact numbers, but there's a fair amount of German fans, Bayern Munich fans, Bundesliga fans. But what I do
Yeah.
know is Vancouver is a German hotspot for tourism, because flights from Frankfurt, Munich, Berlin come in daily. Germans talk about how nice Vancouver is in the summer. They can go to Whistler in the winter. And
Yeah.
just having Mullër come over here will make more Germans or people of German descent here in Vancouver want to go see the Whitecaps.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, it's crazy because you guys have done pretty good, right, for yourselves as far as like a team is concerned during the season. You guys kicked our butts in the CCC, and I mean, other than that, I mean, there's been nothing but good coming out of Vancouver. Was this kind of a surprise? This signing? I mean, I know it's been in the works, I guess, for some time, but is this necessarily a surprise, or was it just like, okay, we got him finally?
It's a big surprise because during the MLS All-Star game, Taylor Twellman pretty much blurted out, "Oh, the Whitecaps are in for the Thomas Mullër sweepstakes," and then people were like, it's probably just a rumor. The Whitecaps never sign big names. And then once reputable guys like Tom Bogert and Manuel Vaith started, tweeting it out, people were like, okay, this might actually go somewhere, but don't get your hopes up yet, which I've told people. And then as the days went on, Tom and Manuel said, oh, the deal's close. And then Fabrizio gave the "here we go." It was just happiness, a lot of disbelief, a lot of people saying, oh my God, the Whitecaps actually signed one of the best players of this generation. He's actually going to put on the uniform and come to Vancouver. It still doesn't feel real, and it will be very surreal once he's unveiled.
Well, you mentioned that it's a surprise. Vancouver typically is not a team that you would see this kind of signing. It's not necessarily like a big market that I guess would attract a big name, right? You would normally think like the corners of the United States that will typically get a big signing like how we have with Messi. LAFC just got Son. They've had other players in the past. Griezmann's been rumored over to go to New York City FC. So there's been a lot of other teams just in the corners of the country where you could see that happening. I imagine that plays a factor in the reason why it's a little bit of a surprise.
Oh, 100%.
Now, the team is, from what I saw, you guys are like pretty complete as a team. I mean, Whenever we previewed Vancouver and we talked about Vancouver, whether it was here or in our other podcasts that we do for Inter Miami, we've always looked at Vancouver as a pretty respectable squad. What is it exactly that he's going to offer to the team, and who's going to lose their spot realistically?
Well, Muller's going to offer experience, winning pedigree, and just that mentorship and the leadership that he brings to a locker room that is very connected, very united. And I see the comment the formation will change with him playing, which is very, very likely,
Possible.
knowing Jesper Sorensen. And I don't think anyone's really going to lose a spot. And any of the players, from what we've been talking to them, they don't mind losing a spot because it'll give them an opportunity down the line to get back in. And it's just this signing, it had to come. If the Whitecaps were ever going to sign a big name, it had to be this year, given the way the team has played all year despite injuries, the amount of travel, even sickness after the Champions Cup final. Like, Ryan Gauld is still injured. He's been out since March. Ranko Veselinovic, possibly the Whitecaps' best center back, done for the season. Left back Samuel Ukube, done for the season. Yet the team is still second place in the Western Conference and gunning for the Supporters' Shield. And adding Thomas Mullër to this just further proves that the Whitecaps are a contender this year.
Well, and like you mentioned, you guys are second in the Western Conference in the standings, and it's only shy by 1 point behind San Diego FC, who essentially has been one of the better teams, surprisingly, in the West. So the fact is that they've been pretty competitive throughout. I know that after CCC there was a little bit of a dip, but in terms of recency, they've been pretty good. And Thomas Mueller's only going to add to that, I imagine.
Oh yeah, 100%, and adds more flair to the attack. And with Petrovite being sold to Pumas, no one in a million years would have guessed Thomas Mullër would have been his replacement. And yeah, like you mentioned, the dip after Champions Cup, it was, expected in a way, given the amount of injuries and the amount of travel. But players and Jesper Sorensen said pretty much saying, oh, stuff like that happens throughout an MLS season. It's up to us to get back to the top. And last 3 games, they've pretty much done that. 2 wins and a draw. And right now, a well-deserved break before they head to San Jose next week.
And this is the matchup. Soccer Daddy's mentioning it here. Berhalter plus Mueller. I mean, that is the matchup that I'm looking forward to being able to see. I know that you mentioned that there might be a possibility of a formation change, especially with such a player of his stature incoming into the squad. So who is it that you see? And I don't know if you had mentioned the name that's going to be taking a back seat to him.
I would say like someone who hasn't played for the Whitecaps yet. Another new signing, Kenji Cabrera, a attacking midfielder, left winger from Peru. He's still working out with his visa, which with South American players takes forever. And he'll take a back seat. And he wasn't really expected to be a starter anyway. And him and Mullër expect to switch a lot.
But then who's losing their starting spot? Who's losing their starting spot to Mullër?
Well, man, it really depends on what formation, because there's a lot of players that can start. Like there are several players that are starting caliber, but it's kind of hard to predict right now because we don't know what the plan is fully for Mullër yet.
Well, I mean, he's been playing for Bayern Munich for basically forever, since 2008. He's still a pretty reputable player. He's 35 years old, so he's not in his prime, but he's still at a place where he can be able to sort of produce for Vancouver, which is, I imagine, is going to be great. How are the fans feeling about this acquisition?
Like I said earlier, surprised, happy, like still disbelief that of all places, Thomas Mullër chose Vancouver. And like this is the biggest signing in Vancouver Whitecaps history. Like, sure, Ryan Gauld was a big deal when he came over. Back in the
Yeah.
day, Kenny Miller was a big deal, YP Lee, but none of them compared to Thomas Muller. Though, if you go back to the 70s, there was Alan Ball, World Cup winner, who signed for the Whitecaps right before the season they did win the soccer ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, no Whitecap or any other Vancouver athlete that has played for the other Vancouver teams has come close to this. Not even the Canucks. That's how big Thomas Muller signing for the Whitecaps is.
Oh, it's colossal. I mean, I think especially like in the football hemisphere, right? Thomas Mueller is one of those recognizable names just from people watching him in World Cup. So that's got to be fantastic. I'm not a big club watcher, but I know a lot of people watch Bayern Munich, so they know a hell of a lot about Thomas Mueller. Now, I guess speaking a little bit about Vancouver, I know that there's been some rumors that Vancouver might be sold in the near future. So, like, what's the status on that? Such a big move in getting Thomas Mueller with all of these sort of rumors also lingering of a selling of the team.
Well, it's not rumor; it's actually happening, and
Yeah.
it's very quiet now. We might hear something the next few months, but bringing in Thomas Mueller will attract potential owners saying, "Hey, this is what you can inherit. And the team's pretty good right now. So we're going to add a German legend to make us even better. So you can buy this and then maybe down the road have a soccer specific stadium."
Oh, that would be fantastic. I mean, it really sucks. I mean, do you see Vancouver FC essentially staying there or being moved to maybe another city or another state, another place in Canada?
That's the fear a lot of people have. A lot of people still have, especially when it was announced the team would be sold. But the current owners, like Greg Kerfoot, the majority owner, says, "Oh, we're dedicated to keeping the team in Vancouver. The league wants to keep the team in Vancouver,
Yeah.
but there's still the whole problem with BC Place. As Don Garber said last week, it's not viable, and the
It's so
team really
beautiful
needs.
too.
It's a beautiful building, but it's just too big, and the surface isn't
Yeah.
the greatest turf.
Yeah.
And but there's a lot of fear that the team will move away. Like, this would be a big loss to the city and the province if the Whitecaps move away. So we're just hoping that whatever buyer comes in keeps the team in Vancouver and has a plan for a new stadium.
Well, and Vancouver is such a beautiful place from what I've seen. Haven't been there yet, but it looks very beautiful, and I feel like there's a lot of passionate fans there, and it would be a shame to get grizzlied essentially in basketball terms. Um, but it is something I guess that the fans can be able to look forward to now that Thomas Mueller is almost etched in ink. And it's going to be a great thing. How do you think this is going to be just in bigger terms for the MLS?
Big for the league. And you mentioned Sun coming to LAFC soon, Rodrigo DePaul in Miami. It's just more eyes are on MLS now. And
Yeah.
players and coaches have talked about MLS is more attractive now. Like Jesper Sorensen, when he came here, he said he came to MLS because it is very attractive and very popular in Europe right now. So it just makes it bigger, and like it puts MLS more on a global scale.
Well, that's the beautiful thing, right? We want to get the MLS more on a global scale, and I think these are the moves that had to be made and have to be made now and moving forward. Joshua, you have been a pleasure tonight, my friend. Let everybody know where they can be able to find your stuff.
Yeah, so I write for the site called the Area 51 Sports Network, write about Vancouver Whitecaps and Vancouver Canucks and other things like the Canadian men's and women's national teams. Yeah, I'll host the Terminal City FC podcast. I'm not too sure what the plan is for this week. I'm just still waiting on the Mullër official announcement, like everyone else. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua Ray00. I'm on Blue Sky too, Joshua Ray .bluesky.social, whatever. Just search it up. You'll be able to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joshua, for hanging out with us here with the Battered MLS fans. And guys, thank you guys so much for listening to us on audio, Spotify, wherever you listen to, Napster. Go ahead and put 5 stars, comment. And for those of you in the chat that hung out with us after we just did like 45 podcasts today, thank you guys so much. You guys are literally the best part of every show we do. Can't thank you guys enough. And we'll be on this week to talk a little bit more about the MLS, guys. But thank you guys again. And until the next one, have a good one.